Apna course. Get smart. Get ahead.
Friends, in this module we'll see what is a corporate payment. Corporate payments are payments which consist of processing of large-scale financial transactions. See, there could be retail payment transactions where individuals and others are involved, but corporate payments are payments where it contains processing of large-scale financial transactions. So usually you can categorize a large value payment as corporate payment when the value of transfer is equal to or greater than $1 million. So basically, which is, when as the name says corporate, so corporate means company. So companies does the corporate payments for their business transactions like purchase of raw materials, payment to the vendors, salary payments and payment to suppliers. So when a company is formed, they need to make payments, they need to receive payments. So corporate payments ensure that it's all done smoothly. Now let us see what are the types of corporate payments. Simple electronic funds transfer, cross-border funds transfer involving Fedwire, funds transfer involving chips, funds transfer involving SWIFT, funds transfer involving SWIFT and Fedwire messages, funds transfer involving SWIFT and chips messages, serial payments and cover payments. Now let us see what are these payments in detail. The first one is the simple electronic funds transfer. So a simple electronic funds transfer is the funds transfer happens between two customers of the same financial institution. So the originating customer, see for example, a corporate wants to make an electronic funds transfer. So what it does, it actually instructs its bank or an institution to make a transfer, and the transfer is made to the beneficiary customer. The institution makes the necessary accounting entries in its books and the transfer is complete. One thing we need to know here, see, even if an electronic transfer happens within a bank, there are a lot of accounting entries that are involved and the bank has to pass on those accounting entries in its books. Of course, now it's not done manually, it's done electronically. But even though it's a simple transaction, we feel that okay, I have the corporate A as an account in bank A and corporate B also has account in bank A. So when they make a transfer, it's simple, but the bank has to definitely pass on all the accounting entries and have necessary documents along with the transfer. Next comes the cross-border funds transfer. As the name mentions, the cross-border funds transfer is the funds transfer happening from one place to another place across countries. So in this case, it's more complicated than the simple funds transfer. When I say complicated, it's not that it's very difficult, but a lot of processes are involved in this, but that has been eased by the technology. So in this case, there are 3 banks that are involved. So a corporate instructs his or her bank to make the transfer to another country, and the originator bank takes the authorization, debits the corporate's account, and they transfer the funds to the correspondent bank which is in the beneficiary location. Correspondent bank will then transfer the funds to the beneficiary's bank, and the funds will be then credited to the beneficiary's account. So in this case, we saw a new term called the correspondent bank. See, for example, for making this funds transfer, I'll give you an example. Bank A in India might have arrangement with a bank in New York. If they have an arrangement, it's fine. The transfer will happen immediately. What if the corporate in India wants the funds transfer to be done to another bank in New York where this Indian bank does not have an arrangement? In that case, the Indian bank approaches a correspondent bank, and when the funds transfer happens, it happens from the originating bank to the corresponding bank, and then the corresponding bank to the beneficiary's bank. And then the beneficiary's bank credits the amount to the beneficiary's account. The next one we are going to see is funds transfer involving Fedwire. So Fedwire was earlier known as Federal Reserve Wire Network, and it's basically a real-time gross settlement system, and it's owned and operated by the federal banks. So here what happens is the funds transfer happens through funds instruction messages and the Federal Reserve Bank. So Federal Reserve Bank is a bank which actually takes care that all the transactions, irrespective of the amount, every transaction has to be done as per the process and as per the regulations prescribed by the federal bank. So federal bank will handle the transmission of funds instruction messages, and they'll also see that the settlement of payment is happening amongst the Fedwire participants. Next comes chips. Like Fedwire chips, which is actually clearinghouse interbank payment systems. So basically it is operated by the clearinghouse payments company. So basically Fedwire and chips does the same function. They actually ensure that the funds are transferred from one account to the another through the funds transfer messages, and the settlement happens among the financial institutions. CHIPS is operated by the clearinghouse payments company, and the payment system is also widely used for quick and timely transfer of funds and settlement. Next comes the SWIFT. SWIFT is called as Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication Code. So basically it is used for international wire transfers. So whenever a person in India or a corporate in India wants to make a payment to another country, for example United States, because this person will be doing an import and he needs to pay the exporter. So they'll approach the bank. The bank will use the SWIFT to make the transaction. The SWIFT comprises of 8 or 11 alphanumeric characters, and the funds transfer instructions are facilitated by SWIFT. It's basically a messaging service. It is basically a messaging service for funds transfer instructions rather than a financial settlement. There is nothing called a financial settlement, but basically messages are sent across financial institutions, and then it ensures that the funds are transferred. SWIFT messages directly travel from one financial institution to the another, and this is the primary method for international funds transfer messages. Funds transfer involving SWIFT and Fedwire messages. So this is another way of making the corporate payment. So basically funds transfer often involve combination of SWIFT and Fedwire messages. For example, an institution might receive a SWIFT message from a foreign institution. What it will do is, it will map the SWIFT message to the Fedwire before passing it on to the additional financial institutions. So these financial institutions will be serving as correspondents. So once the bank receives the SWIFT message from a foreign institution, it will map the message to a Fedwire before passing it on to the additional financial institutions who are serving as correspondents. The other combination which we can see is the funds transfer involving SWIFT and CHIPS messages. Funds transfer often involve a combination of SWIFT and CHIPS messages. So in this case, what happens? The institution might receive a SWIFT message from a foreign institution, and it will map the message to a SWIFT before passing on to the additional financial institutions who are serving as correspondents. The other type of payment is called a serial payment. So under this payment method, one financial institution will transmit the funds transfer institution to the next financial institution, and then the second financial institution will transfer the instructions to the third financial institution. So it will actually happen in the chain. So it is called a payment chain. There are serial payments involved. Each institution in the communication chain receives the same level of details about the transaction at each step. For example, financial institution A, it will transfer the funds transfer instruction to financial institution B, and financial institution B will transfer it to C. So basically that's a payment chain, and it's basically called the serial payment. Next comes the cover payment. So under this method, the payment is done through messages. So the message is basically divided into two parts. The originator bank sends the detailed funds transfer instruction to the beneficiary's bank, and originator bank also sends a second cover payment instruction. Okay, initially there is a funds transfer instruction, And then there is a second cover payment instruction. What it does? It directs the transfer of funds from the originator bank to the beneficiary's bank as a financial institution to financial institution settlement payment. So here basically there is an initial funds transfer instruction, and then there is another cover payment instruction. So this is another type of corporate payment. So there are a lot of ways in which the corporate is given the facility of making funds transfer. So not only a retail customer, a corporate customer is also required for a bank. So the corporate customer, in fact, the volume of transactions and the amount involved will be huge. So banks will be preferring both retail and corporate customers. And with respect to corporates, the banks will definitely explore on providing additional services to the corporates just to ensure that they don't go to the another bank. For example, bank A is offering particular service and bank B is not offering that. Most of the customers would prefer to be in bank A only. So definitely they would continue with bank A. So corporate payments are basically a lifeline for a country's economic growth. As you see, when more companies operate in a country and they do manufacturing or trading or whatever it is, so that actually improves the economy, more money flows in the market and a lot of financial transactions happen. So how do we facilitate it? These types of corporate payments ensures that customers are given less stress, and also that when the transfer transactions happen without any risk and happens on time, and if the money goes to the intended recipient. So more corporate payments are definitely required for a country's economic growth and will continue to grow in volumes. So when there is a problem in the corporate payment mechanism, what happens? For example, a person or a corporate is actually exporting or importing. Okay, so let's take an example of a corporate who is importing. So it has to make payment to a exporter in United States for a raw material. Only after getting a raw material imported from that country, they can start production. So if the corporate payment mechanism in this, for example in India, if it's not very proper, and if this customer is not able to make the payment properly to the exporter in United States, you will not be receiving the raw material and you will not be able to proceed with the manufacturing, and the manufacturing will not happen, due to which the economic growth of the country. This is just an example. See, for example, if there are hundreds of companies like this, so the manufacturing industry will come to a standstill. There will be an effect on the economic growth, there will be effect on the GDP. So lot of implications will happen. So that not only the banks, the RBI and all the regulators, they also feel that the corporate payments have to be made simple and technology has to be continuously evolved. So basically more solutions have to be offered to the customer to maximize the payment control. See, one thing is you are giving a facility to the customer. So the customer has to be given a lot of flexibility in making a corporate payment transaction, and not only that, he has to be given more safety and security. So it should not be the case that the transaction happens and there is some problem in the transaction and there is some problem in the security of the transaction. So that will affect the reputation of not only the bank but also the financial regulator. So not only the flexibility is important, the safety and the security of the transaction is also important. So the technology definitely helps in ensuring that all these corporate payments happen without any issue. And as I said before, banks and other players continuously invest a lot of money in technology just to do research on how to improve this payment mechanism and how to improve the payment control and how to improve the flexibility to help with the transition to banks e-payment. So banks have to definitely upgrade their infrastructure. They need to definitely invest in technology, and more solutions have to be offered to the customers. As more solutions offered, more corporate payments will happen and the country's economic growth will also be assured. So definitely the corporate payments are a lifeline of an economy, and it is important that all the players in the market have to ensure smooth and risk-free transactions.
अपना कोर्स Get smart. Get ahead.